Whether he simulates a gun, we have to believe he has a gun. Numerous individuals in these establishments when he walks in.
Have you ever wondered how criminals pull off heists that feel like they're straight out of a movie?
You know, you don't know. I could be in that bank. Anybody could be in that bank. My family members, anyone could be in there.
From the daring Great Train robbery to the shocking Antwerp diamond heist.
You know, it's ridiculous how people just going around just robbing banks and, you know, not being mindful.
These stories will leave you speechless. $500 million in stolen art, a $70 million bank robbery, and a $100 million diamond heist. These heists were more than just thefts. They were works of criminal genius. Don't miss out on these jaw-dropping tales of greed and planning. Watch now before the truth disappears. Number 5. Antwerp Heist. On February 15, 2003, a gang of thieves pulled off one of the most shocking heists in history, stealing over $100 million worth of diamonds from the Antwerp Diamond Center in Belgium. What made this heist even more extraordinary was the precision with which it was carried out. The thieves spent months planning the robbery. They bypassed high-tech security systems, including infrared cameras, motion detectors, and a 40-ton vault. The criminals had insider knowledge, and their plan was flawless. Using the tunnel they had secretly dug, the thieves made their way into the vault and took the diamonds, escaping without a trace. They left behind no fingerprints, and the vault was left untouched, making it impossible to track the exact method of entry. Despite a massive investigation and international manhunt, the thieves were never fully identified. This remarkable heist remains a mystery. The Antwerp Diamond Heist is remembered as a robbery so perfectly executed, it still feels like a story from a thrilling movie. Number 4. Great Train Heist. In 1963, one of the most daring and well-planned heists in history took place in the UK. A gang of robbers, led by James the Master White, meticulously planned to rob a Royal Mail train carrying £2.6 million. The train was transporting money across the country, but these criminals weren't just any ordinary thieves. They had a plan so perfect, it seemed like something straight out of a movie. For months, they studied the train's routes, the schedules, and the security measures. Their key to success was a careful understanding of how the system worked. The mastermind, White, used his inside knowledge and hired the best of the best to execute this heist. They even bribed a few railway workers to ensure the plan would go smoothly. The heist happened on the night of August 8, 1963. The robbers used a signal to stop the train in a remote area. They dressed as police officers, which helped them avoid suspicion. With skill and precision, they took control of the train, tied up the crew, and emptied the vault of its £2.6 million, a fortune back then. The criminals made their getaway without leaving a single trace behind. What's even more remarkable about this heist is how well planned it was. They had researched every detail, right down to how to escape without being caught. The robbers used stolen vehicles and even had a safe house waiting for them. They disappeared into the night with no one knowing their identities. But like any good story, this one didn't end smoothly. Police quickly launched a manhunt to catch the criminals. Over the next few months, many of the robbers were arrested, but the leader, White, remained at large. Despite multiple investigations and many close calls, White was never found. The heist became one of the most talked about crimes in history and is still remembered today for its audacity and execution. The Great Train Robbery remains one of the most fascinating criminal acts ever pulled off, with a plot that could rival any movie script. This was the story of 1963, when a group of men pulled off a heist so perfect, it became legendary, one that continues to captivate audiences to this day. Number 3. Gardner Heist. On the night of March 18, 1990, two men disguised as police officers entered the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston. What followed was a heist that would go down in history as one of the most audacious art thefts ever. Their goal: steal priceless masterpieces worth $500 million. The criminals, posing as police, convinced the night guard to let them in. Once inside, they overpowered the guards and tied them up, taking control of the museum. With no alarms going off, they moved swiftly through the museum's halls. Their target? The works of famous artists like Vermeer, Rembrandt, and Degas. They knew exactly where to go. In less than 81 minutes, the thieves emptied the museum's walls. They took 13 works of art, including Vermeer's The Concert and Rembrandt's The Storm on the Sea of Galilee. They carefully cut the paintings from their frames, leaving behind empty spaces. No one heard a sound. The thieves escaped into the night, leaving the authorities and the public stunned. The crime left the world baffled. The stolen paintings vanished without a trace. Despite a massive investigation and millions of dollars in rewards, the artworks have never been recovered. It was as though the paintings disappeared into thin air. The FBI continues to investigate, but to this day, the mystery remains unsolved. The Gardner Museum heist is still a case that haunts the world of art theft. It is considered one of the greatest unsolved crimes in history, a theft so perfect, it could easily be mistaken for a scene from a movie. The stolen masterpieces remain missing, but their legacy is forever part of this extraordinary crime. Number 2. Banco burglary. In 2005, one of the most audacious heists in modern history took place in Brazil. A group of criminals carried out a robbery so well planned that it seemed like something straight out of a heist movie. Their target, the Banco Central in Fortaleza, where millions of dollars were stored in the vault. For months, the thieves worked quietly behind the scenes. Renting a property near the bank, they used the house to dig an elaborate tunnel that would lead them directly into the bank's vault. The tunnel, which took several months to dig, was around 78 meters long. The criminals used heavy equipment to carry out the work, but they managed to keep everything under wraps. The night of the heist, everything was in place. The thieves broke into the Banco Central and accessed the vault by entering through the tunnel. They stole a staggering $70 million in cash, an amount that was never fully recovered. The entire operation was completed without anyone noticing a thing. The criminals were incredibly careful. They knew the bank's security systems and worked meticulously to avoid detection. After the robbery, they vanished without a trace. They left behind no clues, and the police were left scrambling to piece together what happened. Despite a massive investigation, the authorities were unable to catch the masterminds behind the heist. Over time, some of the criminals were arrested, but the full truth behind the Banco Central burglary remains a mystery. The sheer scale of the operation, along with the precision and stealth involved, makes this heist one of the most memorable and thrilling in history. Number 1. Lufthansa heist. On December 11, 1978, a heist took place that would become legendary in the world of crime. It was the Lufthansa heist, one of the biggest robberies in history, involving a group of mobsters who managed to steal $5 million in cash and $1 million in jewelry from a vault at New York's JFK Airport. The robbery was planned with military precision. A team of thieves, led by James Burke, known as Jimmy the Gent, infiltrated the airport with insider help. The plan was simple: get in, take the money, and escape without a trace. Once the criminals had access, they moved swiftly. They broke into the vault and emptied it in just hours. They used stolen cars for their getaway, making sure to leave no evidence behind. However, the smooth execution of the heist didn't mean a smooth ending. One by one, those involved started to disappear, victims of betrayal and murder. The case remains one of the most infamous heists, made even more famous by the movie Goodfellas. To this day, many believe it was the perfect crime, except for the fatal consequences for those who pulled it off. Incredible, right? But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Want to know how hackers stole millions without ever leaving their homes? Don't miss our next video. Hit that subscribe button now to stay updated on more unbelievable stories. You won't want to miss the shocking secrets we'll reveal next. Subscribe now and join us on this wild ride. You won't believe what's coming next.